Welcome to another Build Day Live video here with NetApp in Boulder. I'm Alistair Cook, and joining me for this video is Dean Steadman. Dean, what do you do for NetApp?
I'm a product manager on our HCI team.
It's incredibly convenient since we're here to talk about the HCI product. Now, I know when NetApp first launched this HCI product, a couple of years ago now, there was a lot of discussion in the community around whether it was a real HCI product. So can you talk us through a little bit what the architecture of the product is and how it's different from many of the other HCI products in the market?
Sure. So when our team began working on NetApp HCI, the first thing we did was took a step back and really looked at the key attributes that we wanted to bring into the market. And we wanted to give customers an infrastructure that allowed them to have something that was easy to deploy, easy to maintain, and really allowed their teams to spend more time innovating on their business rather than spending all of their time maintaining the infrastructure and doing all of those mundane updates and tasks along those lines. So what we did is we started with an architecture where we disaggregated our compute and storage from one another, which is a little different than traditional HCI deployments. And what that means is that we deliver our architecture using independent compute and storage nodes. So that allows us to take the hardware resources for each of those different type of workloads and dedicate 100% of that hardware for that. So when our customers deploy a compute node in an HCI deployment, they get 100% of that compute node, all the compute, all the memory that's available in that. And then the same with our storage nodes. They're the exact same hardware, they're just architected in ways to deliver the unique capabilities for the node type that they are. So our storage nodes are designed to deliver as much capacity and as much throughput for our customers as possible. This disaggregated architecture also allows our customers to scale their systems independently of the different type of workloads that they're focusing in on. So if a customer needs more storage or needs more storage performance, they can add a storage node to deliver just those resources. If they're adding additional virtual machine workloads or different container workloads, they can add just a compute node to scale their environment to meet the business needs rather than scaling based upon the architecture limits that we've put on the product.
So I see the difference here is that the HCI always has a software-defined storage.
Correct.
Because software-defined storage is so much easier to manage. And that's a scale-out cluster. And HCI also has a compute cluster, which again is software-defined compute. We're used to older style HCI platforms where those were the same thing. The two clusters were co-located.
Correct.
And essentially here we've separated out those two clusters.
Yeah, and just allow each aspect of the cluster to independently operate. And then all of our management software ties those together. It takes the software-defined compute, the software-defined storage, merges those together from an infrastructure management perspective, and makes that easy for our customers to live with.
And that's what we saw as we were working with HCI deployed into customers. They initially liked the software-defined storage as taking away a very complex, hard to manage element. But once they got past the first few months in operation, what they realized was the true value of HCI is in simplified operation, and that ongoing simplification was really valuable.
Yeah, correct. And then, also for us being able to give customers the ability to scale and grow on their own terms. Our systems can scale up in the number of nodes. We support up to 40 nodes in a single storage cluster, and then up to 64 compute nodes in a single compute cluster. Now, another interesting thing about our architecture is that customers can also have the ability to create multiple compute clusters, all with a single shared storage cluster. So again, we take all of the efficiencies that we have from a storage perspective, from software-defined storage, and scale that out to multiple clusters within the environment.
And then there's no requirement to buy additional compute nodes because you need additional storage capacity or additional storage capacity because you're running additional compute. There's no tight coupling in there.
Yeah, you also save on licensing costs with this model as well. So, if we don't have to have a hypervisor license in order to add storage capacity to the environment.
And I think it probably helps a lot also that you have a very mature storage product, and we'll talk in another video about the SolidFire origins around that storage product, that you have a really high performance storage product with a lot of data services that we don't necessarily see in less mature storage inside conventional HCI products.
Yeah, that's correct. We architected our system based upon the SolidFire element storage operating system. And for NetApp, our history, our background is in storage, providing to our customers and data management. And so we wanted to make sure when we leverage our own strengths as a company, and building SolidFire into the heart of our HCI product allowed us to do that. So.
And retaining physical hardware for the SolidFire Element OS allows you to do high performance and the quality of service things that we'll talk about that are central to what the Element OS is about.
Correct, and bake those into all of the HCI product offerings, all of those data efficiencies and data services that we get from SolidFire.
And we'll talk in a following video on that. So that operational simplicity comes from not just is it quick and easy to deploy, but as you're making changes, as systems need to be updated and patches are released out, that must play an element in how the architecture works.
Yeah, absolutely. For our perspective, from an HCI viewpoint, we want that to be simple for customers. So like I said, they can spend their time doing their day job versus maintaining this infrastructure. So we've built in as much simplification as we can in there. We've also tried to build in a lot of flexibility. So for example, we offer the option for customers to upgrade the entire HCI infrastructure stack all in one fell swoop, so a one button upgrade.
So that's through the whole storage infrastructure as well as the hypervisor and...
Correct, the storage operating system, the compute drivers, firmware, all of those things all from one simple process. We've also built in the flexibility. With a disaggregated architecture, we can also upgrade all of those components independently from one another. So if a new security patch comes out for one of our hardware components, and there's a new driver update that has that, we have the ability for customers to grab that patch the day it's released and put it into their infrastructure. That way they're moving at the speed of the requirements that they have versus waiting on us.
Waiting for weeks or months for validation of a new build.
Correct. And then we take those builds, put them into a roll-up, and say, okay, Mr. Customer, this is now the new baseline image that we want all customers to be at. Okay. So it has that simplicity of being maintained and upgraded like an appliance, as well as the flexibility to react to what's going on in the industry around us.
And that ability to upgrade just separate components must also be important where you've got multiple compute clusters, maybe with different regulatory and governance requirements talking to the same storage cluster.
Yeah, correct. I actually have a few customers that are running two different versions of VMware ESX within the same environment, all connected to the same storage cluster. So that allows them to enjoy all of the storage efficiencies, built-in dedupe, compression, all of that goodness, and then spread that out to multiple clients and different operating systems.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Dean, for walking us through a little bit of the thinking behind and the architecture of the NetApp HCI solution.
Yep, thank you.
And thank you for joining us. Please stay tuned for more great videos from the Build Day Live here at NetApp.